Today is an intro to AI for learning. And our agenda for today has to do with understanding a little bit about people using AI in learning, some professional ideas and how people use it for learning, and some personal ideas for how people can use it for learning, and some demonstrations. So we'll go through that. So thank you all for coming to today's tech topic. I really enjoy putting these together and trying to make technology easier for people to understand. Top AI uses for work. We cover this in some of our other sessions, but writing and communication is really one of the top uses of AI. Another one is data analysis, and another one is task automation. AI is increasingly being used in workplace learning with avatars and tools that are being used to create videos, because production companies that create learning videos for corporate events and activities and compliance issues, when they have to use a person to read the script or they have to record it on film, it's expensive. And so we're seeing a lot of AI being used in the learning aspect of creating how-to videos, learning videos, practice videos, and education in the workplace with text-to-speech, and particularly with avatars. Personal uses: people love to write with AI. They learn a lot. That's one of the top personal uses of AI. And planning. We looked at the planning and writing prompts, and today we're going to look a little bit more at learning. And there's a lot of popular AI tools that are out there: ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Meta AI, Copilot, Perplexity, Claude. They all work in a very similar way and offer a lot of similar approaches. So how does somebody think about using AI for learning? Well, you can use it as a personal tutor. It can really get to know you. It can really get to know how you learn. It can learn by the types of things you answer correctly and not correctly. It can memorize things too. Your AI, with some free, but more with the paid accounts, they're $20 a month. The AI will remember things from you. It can explain things to you. We'll take a look at that. It can create study aids if you'd like flashcards, if you like an accessory or activities that you might be interested in looking at, you can create those. You can use it to role play or practice an activity, and we'll take a look at some of that. And you can use it to create personalized learning plans, regardless of the type of subject you're looking at. And you can use it to review and help you understand things. We don't review a lot of things. I've been taking Spanish lessons from a Spanish tutor, and I use AI to help me understand a few things, but I like the idea of homework and practice activities and exercises. Having practice activities and other things like that can really be helpful. With AI learning in the workplace, professionals are using it to upskill quickly by asking for learning paths. AI will create it. So if you need to improve your skills in the workplace, you can really use it for that very effectively. Employees can simulate role plays. So I remember in sales and marketing and managing, training, and things like that, managing difficult employees or managing situations at work or working as a team and other things, you can simulate role playing with the AI as well. And as I mentioned, trainers can build AI quizzes and internal resources. We did this with one of the other tools, Microsoft 365, with their quiz tool, and their subscription gives you the ability to create quizzes. But we're going to create some quizzes just by using a simple prompt. In your personal life, I like using it for language learning and grammar exercises. You can explore new hobbies such as history. Use AI to explain things, give you ideas on how to study this. Parents are using AI to help tutor their kids. There are some schools and some underprivileged areas around the world that are using tablets because they don't have enough teachers to do the training, and they're using AI tutors and educators to help create exercises and activities for students where they may not have all the skills. A personal tutor is a great way for AI to help you out. It can explain anything, a word, topic, a process. It can adjust the explanations for age, for reading level, for experience. It's a really great way for learning quickly. So your AI may know how old you are or how much knowledge you have about something, but it may not. And so giving it some extra information about what you want it for can really help adjust the explanations, whether you want it more technical, whether you want it less technical. So you can use the AI to really learn very quickly and explore things. It's great for explaining concepts. Concepts are hard to explain as opposed to physical objects or tangible things. And, teach me in a paragraph or explain it like on five. Who doesn't want something simple? It can reduce frustration and help reduce fear of difficult topics. Sometimes somebody throws something at you, say, I'm never going to understand this, and you just walk away from it. But an AI can help you understand it in language that can make it easier for you to understand. You can keep on chatting with it. I don't get it. I still don't get it. I still don't get it. And it'll keep on coming back with different ways of trying to present the material to you. And it's great for things like science and math and technical subjects that are sometimes difficult to explain and clarify. Creating study aids is fantastic. I've used it to create quizzes, flashcards, multiple choice type activities. You can take a prompt like make flashcards to study the US state capitals. You can use it for test preparation, language learning, repetitive exercises. Lots of times we might try to look over material and read it. We reread it. I remember when I was a college student and I took art history, you had to memorize a painting and who painted it, when it was painted, what period it was painted in, because those would be those things on the quiz. And so a lot of it was rote memorization. And a group of study friends, we'd go back and forth with each other. If you don't have study friends, AI can be your study partner. It can help you routinely practice these types of things. You can use it for role play. Let's say you're getting into a situation where you're saying, I need to make a presentation to a club meeting, or I need to practice doing something that I'm not really familiar with. Be my Spanish teacher. It'll help you with conversation. It even has the ability to create dialogue. And it can go back and forth with you to help you improve the understanding. So role playing for interviews, role playing for presentations, role playing for activities you might do, role playing for what to do when you go through Customs and Border Patrol, if you're coming back to the US and other things like that. You can get a lot of experience with it for interviews, speaking, even customer service types of things where you're maybe volunteering or you're running a yard sale or you're just going to a club meeting and you want to help people understand how to do a particular hobby or activity, and you want to make it sure that you can make it easier for them and ask them for what are some questions that might come up. Personalized learning plans are great. Ask it to create a weekly study plan or a guide, trying to, make sure you stay on schedule all the time. Help me learn Excel in 2 weeks with 30 minutes a day. It'll give you activities to practice and try, and you can even ask it to find places where you can see how to do this. And that helps you encourage regular project. Learning is something that doesn't happen overnight. It takes place. I was at a step fitness class yesterday, and the instructor had set up like 4 platforms and people were moving between platforms, and it was hard to keep up with it, but repetition will help. But she changes her routines on a regular basis. But also you can set more goal setting for yourself and try things out so that you say, gee, I'd like to understand something at this level, and it'll build a plan for you to help you get to that level. You can use AI to review what you learned. We're going to try that today. Quiz me on what we just discussed. What are some important takeaways from this topic? And it helps reinforce memory. When you have to think of a response and you have to understand something, and if you can't think of it, the great thing about it is you can give yourself a little bit of time. And if you can't think, You can ask AI for the answer and it'll give it to you. And using that recall function helps improve comprehension and understanding too. I've been talking with a friend, Carl, about smart TVs. So I'd like to ask you, explain how smart TVs work and compare them to dumb TVs. Now, not really very specific in terms of things, but understands that I usually ask for clear and simple explanations on smart TVs and dumb TVs and what their components and features are, built-in apps, etc., etc. I can say, well, I'd like you to explain this for someone with no technical knowledge at all. And it'll redraft it a little bit even simpler to a friend or senior would say how to explain it, what's it going to do, what you can do with it, why a regular TV is just a screen, which one's better, ways to remember. I could ask it for a handout version or a class or a workshop. Or I could say, what I'd really like to know are what are some other good things to know about about televisions. But if someone's learning about television, here are some other useful and practical topics. What are the ports are? HD, what plugs in? Screen sizes and room fitting, HD, 4K, 8K, what a streaming device is like a Roku and a Fire Stick. What's the best way to watch cable? What does cord cutting mean? What are sound systems using the remote? Energy settings, sleep timers, closed captions, wall mounting. So this is great. So I could say make this into a lesson handout and it'll create a document for me that'll be formatted into a great little handout for people I can copy. Oh, and it gives me a version with images and diagrams. Well, sure, let's try images and diagrams. And usually what it's been doing, it's been creating it in a Word document when it creates something with images and diagrams, and we'll be able to look at that in a minute. I wanted to write something a little bit different here. I'm going to start a new prompt. We'll go back to this one. It's not going to stop. I wanted to explain how volcanoes work so a first grader can understand it and also write a story about a volcano adventure for a first grade boy and girl. Because sometimes people learn from stories. So it'd be nice to be able to have a story if I was a teacher helping somebody read and other things like that. So I'll explain what a volcano is for first graders and talks about uses vocabulary like wiggly and then boom and other things. And then it says created a story, Emma and Jake's volcano adventure. Emma and Jake were best friends who loved exploring. A sunny day, they found a treasure map. Nice little story here. They explained a little bit about things like boom, the volcano erupted, lava blew down, and the bird led them to a secret cave where they could watch safely, of course, because we don't want people getting caught in lava. But it can create coloring pictures. Oh, that would be interesting because, first graders sometimes learn from coloring pictures. So I'm going to ask it for some coloring pictures. AI is really good at creating pictures that people can use for coloring. Now, it's getting started here. And while it's getting started, my smart TV versus dumb TVs gave me a blue dot. It's got something that it created here for me, and I'm hoping it'll open up. Getting to know your TV, a beginner's guide. Smart, regular. What do the ports on the back do? What's a streaming device? What size do I need? Watching shows without cable. How to use the remote. A better side. You see the text in here is really good. A lot of the text, sometimes there's a little problem here that it doesn't do right, or something like that. But otherwise, not too bad. You could ask it, hey, can you clean up? This is a cable for T-Bast, we're kind of a weird situation. So sometimes the text isn't always great. Other times it does pretty good. Let's go back to our volcano adventure story. And here we got a little coloring diagram, how volcanoes work with magma, lava, Emma and Jake's volcano adventure, kind of a coloring picture for that as well. So it'll do them really nicely. So I'm going to create a quiz. I found learning Spanish one of the toughest things. I want a quiz for conjugating the Spanish verb estoy for someone starting to learn Spanish. And it's going to create a quiz. Here's the put in the correct term. Bang, bang. Here's 10. I didn't ask it for any number of questions. I could have said 20, I could have said 5, but here it gives me the answer key. And I can say, give me a printable sheet and I can print it out. It'll also format it into Word. Google Gemini will do a lot of the same things. It's virtually as capable. It's really well integrated with Google Docs. So if you're a Google Docs user, create a set of flashcards. That was one of our prompts in our presentation for studying the capitals of the US. I'm going to just make the capital of the world. It thinks a little bit, kind of decides what's it going to do here, and then it'll come up with a set of study flashcards. It'll give me ways for formatting it and creating it for a different type of outfit. So here's a set of flashcards. You can use this to quiz yourself by covering up one column and trying to recall the other and make it interactive. Let's try interactive. And I don't know if it'll do anything for me differently, but we'll see if it does this. Okay. Okay. So now it's interactive. Type in your answer and I'll tell you if you're correct. I'm not sure if I'm not going to worry about answering this, but it actually will quiz you. I can say, well, make it interactive with multiple choice questions. It's actually going to be a little bit different format here. So it's going to create a different type of quiz where I don't have to guess the capital. It'll give me a choice. This really didn't give me an interactive one like I wanted. Sometimes you'll have to do a little bit of different prompts and design it a little bit in different ways. Here's another type of prompt. Say you're looking at doing some volunteer work. Help me role play for an interview with a volunteer position. Let's create a role play. Here's the interviewer response. Would you like to type, or would you prefer I demonstrate how a strong answer might sound? Like I can just say, give me a strong answer. But you can practice typing them in or talking. You have a microphone available in your chat here. So this is a response here about what you can do. It highlights your background, why, key qualities. So really for any kind of a situation like making a wedding speech or anything by adding those types of things in there. Let's take a look at creating a personalized learning plan for Excel. I want to do it in 2 weeks, 30 minutes a day. Give me a learning plan. You don't always have to get the prompt perfect. So here's some guides and activities that you might want to work on. So tips, use sample spreadsheets, daily video links or practice files to go with each day, or printable PDFs if you want. So you can create a wide range of activities. I don't need to learn that much, just the basics, with a lot of repetition or practice. I'll say practice, like music, an instrument, other things like that. So here's a more simplified 2-week learning plan, focusing on the basics with plenty of hands-on practice activities. So what you'll be able to do is what you'll be able to accomplish. So practice files, it'll create those for you or show you exactly what to type in a few exercises. It'll actually give you a lot of these things that you might want to practice with and give you practice exercises if you want to. One of the other things I want to do is create a review here, review what of this transcript of what was discussed in this tech topic. It'll ask me, well, I need to know what tech topic is. It based on past conversation. Now it understands that I've written a lot of tech topics and quizzes. It has information about what I've written, what types of scripts and transcripts I've given it. And I can say, well, quiz me on this transcript summary. Okay. And I'm going to actually drag a document over, which is a summary from one of my tech topics on AI prompts. And I wanted to quiz on this transcript summary. and it'll create a quiz based on this particular one. So somebody mentioned the Neos AI aggregator, and it created a question for that. So if you were paying attention to the tech topic, you'd understand that it aggregates responses from multiple resources. Which four components did Bob say make up an effective AI prompt? Kind of interesting that it put my name into the question already. So it gives you some multiple choice here. Gave me a true or false. I didn't ask it what kinds of questions, but it gave me some formats here. What tool did Bob use to demonstrate? It kind of interesting. It took all that from the information that is really important that came out of that. And so, would you like an answer key? Would you like a version formatted for printing or Microsoft Forms? Would you like more challenging questions or practical application? So it can really format a quiz very quickly from any document you upload and can help you learn. So those are some learning activities that will help you practice those types of things, in addition to just doing incredibly minute types of research on something that you say, what is it you need to do? We did a research report on learning for country music research in our previous session. I wanted to get an analysis of what a food truck business was like, EVs, but I've done things like creating a 5-day travel itinerary, trying to understand how to do slides, sharing location on WhatsApp. It'll show me different steps you can use, different features, different quizzes, and other things like that. Even Major League Baseball, I was watching a game with a friend, and we were watching, and I said, create a quiz for what people might want to know. And it created a great great set of questions for all the topics we looked at and discussed about what's involved, like where does the mud come from that they use on Major League Baseballs, and why they chose questions, how many bats does a player need on an away game trip. And so it can build a quick question around a quiz or baseball. And I said yes. And it created a nice little quiz for me here with, that I can use and paste it. I can say, give me something with different options, modify the quiz a little bit, and it'll rewrite it. So whether you're just using it for yourself or whether you're using it with an activity, it's a great set of resources to be able to use. If you want to get summaries, if you want to simplify something, if you're not sure of understanding something, you can have a chat and a dialogue with ChatGPT or AI or Gemini or Copilot or others, and use it to help explore and learn things.